All right, let's talk about this movie called Ballerina. Boy. So we started with the scene of the convenience store. These random guys come in there and they're basically trying to rob the place. This one chick is just trying to pay for food, and all of a sudden she ends up murking these niggas, beating the shit out of them, and she ends up getting her food and going about her business. This chick goes by the name of Okju. She ends up getting a call from a friend she hasn't heard from in a long time, chick by the name of Minnie. She goes to this convenience store to get some more food or whatever like that. The thing is, she's going up to Minnie's apartment. When she goes inside, she doesn't really see her. She goes up on a bed and she finds this box and it's got like ballerina shoes in it. So she calls her phone and she ends up hearing her phone in the bathroom. So she goes in the bathroom, looks in the tub, and sees Minnie done deal dead as shit. Then we get this flashback to how both of them first met. See, Okju wandered into this bakery where Minnie was working at. Okju wanted a mint chocolate chip cake or whatever like that. Then he started talking about birthdays, and that's when it popped out of her head. Minnie was like, oh yeah, I remember. So apparently they knew each other before this. So I think they went to school together or something like that. So we found out Minnie was working at a bakery, but she was also a ballerina. So she asked her about what Oju's been doing around this time, but then she said something about, exploring exploitations or whatever. Basically, she was doing some military shit for this organization called The Firm. She got gun skills, hand-to-hand combat skills, all that good shit. But she ain't want to hit Minnie with the details, you know what I'm saying? So back in real time, when Oju checked the box that had the ballerina shoes, that had a note in it that said, get revenge from me, and then the bottom part said, Chief Chow, some number. Then Minnie's phone starts ringing, Oju picks up the phone, and then guy's like, hello, hello? He's basically saying meet him at this bridge tomorrow or whatever like that, or bottom lines, he's basically going to threaten her family. The thing is, Oju said nothing the whole time, so he's thinking Minnie picked up. So Oju goes back to her spot and she looks up this thing about Chief Chow, thinking it's some type of restaurant, right? So she's trying to order a meal with like 1 pack of soy sauce, but when the line disconnects or goes out of service, she's thinking to herself, this ain't no real restaurant, that's some bullshit. So the next night, Oju ends up going across on the bridge, sees the guy at the bridge, he's find out his name is Mr. Chow. So he calls the phone thinking Minnie's going to pick up, but nobody picks up the phone. So basically, he ends up dipping, right? The thing is, he don't know that Okju is following him. So he ends up going back to his like mansion or whatever like that. He's like working out, doing all these stretches and things of that nature. And once again, Okju was like just chilling in the background. The next day, she waits for this nigga to leave. This nigga got a fucking Lambo. And she basically just breaks into his mansion or whatever like that. Now she starts looking around and seeing stuff. Then she goes into his room and goes to this closet, sees all this Christian Grey Red Room shit. Dominatrix masks, sex toys, whips and chains, handcuffs, all type of shit, right? Then she goes to this drawer and sees a bunch of flash drives. And one of the flash drives said Ballerina on it. So she ended up clicking in the flash drive and seeing all the stuff that he was doing to her or whatever like that. He's been doing this to a lot of chicks or whatever like that. Now, apparently, he's some type of sex offender, right? But it goes further than that. And I should have picked up on this right after that. We find out that she actually committed suicide because of all the trauma and stuff like that that Minnie was going through. But I'll tell you why in a minute. So basically, when Okju went through the house, she had already set up like a recorder. And she found out where his next meeting place was going to be at. He's talking to this one dude and he's trying to like talk to him about, yeah, we going to find some chicks at this little club called Heaven or whatever like that. So she ends up making her way there. So Okju ends up meeting Choi face to face, but he's looking at her thinking to herself like, you look like somebody familiar or whatever like that. But she's like, yeah, you don't know me. So basically he wants to take her out. He ends up taking on a ride or whatever like that. And they end up going to a hotel. I guess it's a particular hotel that he takes a lot of his girls to, right? So he basically gets all nice and comfortable and asks her if she want to drink or whatever like that, right? Now, meanwhile, while he's doing that, he goes inside of the bathroom and he's starting to get like this dominatrix mask and equipment ready, you know what I'm saying? We come back finding the drink all spilled and apparently Oju's passed out in the bed. So yeah, this is how he gets his victims. Now he's getting on top or whatever like that. Come to find out, she's not really passed out. She tried to stab with a knife, but somehow he ended up catching the blade and then we get the beef back and forth. So throughout the beef, she ends up digging a knife in between his face and slashing the whole side of his other face off. And she's about to finish him off. And then all of a sudden, the manager of the hotel comes through with a damn shotgun, you know what I'm saying, banging off. But it jams up. She ends up murking this nigga. And then she ends up leaving out the room, right? Putting barricades behind it. But then all of a sudden, this dude comes out of nowhere with a freaking chainsaw. And while he's running towards Okju, the freaking door slams in his face. This one chick just coming out of a room. And then she ends up helping Okju escape. So Okju and we used to call this girl Kiki, whatever like that. Both of them are sitting at the diner, right? They're trying to get something to eat, and they're discussing these plans. Kiki's like, yeah, you're the one girl that I've been waiting for so we could go together and kill all these niggas. I'm like... So apparently, she was a slave at one of these hotels, and let me explain this. Choi wakes up with his head all taped up in eyes, whatever like that. He's in his room, but then he's surrounded by the big boss and a bunch of niggas. So apparently, this organization sells drugs and guns, but Choi is supposed to be in the property of selling girls or whatever. The thing is, they're trying to figure out where you get enough money to get a freaking Lambo. So the big boss know he been dipping in pockets. How they end up finding about the Lambo? Because apparently Okju ended up stealing the Lambo. So the boss is basically giving Cho 3 days to get this chick, or you basically done deal. So Cho, after he's feeling better, he basically links up with this dude named Mu Yang. He's been working with him like he's a pharmaceuticist or whatever like that. But the thing is, he wants him to help him to kill Okju or whatever like that. But the thing is, he's like, man, I ain't about killing people whatever like that. He's like, you gonna do it for 100 mil? He's like, all right, bet. Meanwhile, Okju ends up going back to her clan in the firm, but she's really not trying to go back. She just need access to some weapons because she's about to be on a hunt to be able to murk niggas. So they set him up with this old couple that got this van or whatever like that. They give him the money, and then they got some weapons for him. Some of them jammed, some of them but majority of them work pretty good, I guess. But then the old lady also throws in this mean-ass flamethrower. You know they're going to take that. Then they end up going back to the spot. It's like, look, we got to get some rest. And then Kiki's like, yo, we can't waste time. We got to murk these niggas. And then she always talking about, like, you going to teach me how to use a gun? I'm thinking to myself, hold up, yo. You was talking about getting the right person for the job, you know what I'm saying? You was talking all this about, yeah, you the person that we gonna help out together, we gonna murk all these niggas, but you don't even know how to use a gun. I'm not even sure if you know how to use hands. We know Okju could do both, but Kiki over here talking this gangster shit. I'm like, word. So anyway, Okju leaves out, you know what I'm saying? She goes to get some stuff at the convenience store again, and then she gets a mint chocolate chip cake. Now, why she get this? Because she's thinking to herself, we get a flashback of the cake that she got when she first walked into the bakery with Minnie. So when she gets back to the house, we find out Kiki's not there. All of a sudden, Cho and Mi Yang try to jump her or whatever like that. She ends up going out the window, and we're like, oh shit, did they throw her out the window? Then we get the scene where Cho and Mi Yang meet back up with the big boss and tells her like, yeah, we buried the body parts, this, that, the third. And the big boss is like, did we tell you to kill her? You know what I'm saying? I told you to bring her to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, so but big boss is probably thinking he's lying or whatever like that. But bottom line is like, hey, bring her body parts to me or we'll find her or do something. But apparently throughout that situation, they end up kidnapping Kiki. And the big boss leaves Cho to his own devices or whatever like that. So basically, he's going to be torturing Kiki or doing whatever he's going to do. So we go back to the scene at the hotel. The guy that had the chainsaw and messing up his leg or whatever like that, he keeps looking through the camera footage. He's like, yo, something's up. So he ends up going around the back. Turns out Okju's got the gun in his face. It was like, hey, yo, where the fuck he at? So he tells her the location, bottom line, and she ends up done dealing him anyway. Like, the fuck out of here. So apparently all this stuff was taking place in this horse stable, right? So she ends up going there. All she sees is Kiki's shirt, so it's bloody or whatever like that. So we thinking the worst at this point, right? Now, I don't know what information tipped her off to this, but bottom line is she ends up getting into this whole little section or whatever like that, the big boss's organization. I'm like, how did she figure that out from the bloody shirt and the horse stable? Anyway, she just walks in there casually, G'd up with the gun in her hand, like she about to just murk everybody, you know what I'm saying? They all just sitting around growing their weed. You got the big boss men just sitting there chilling or whatever like that. Big boss comes out, he starts talking to her, was like, hey, look, man, what's good? So her mission goes from finding Kiki to just wanting to kill Cho. So bottom line, she's like, look, I'm asking you one time, where's Cho at? So then he's still talking about some have a seat. And she's like, you know what? Bang, silenced him, done deal. His ass done deal dead as shit. And then the beef started. Then she wiped out 40 of these niggas. They all got done deal dead as shit. She got to the last person, right? And then she ends up stuffing glass in his mouth and then punched him in his face. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I don't even know if he was dead or not. He might as well have been. So then we get to the spot. I guess they get back to the horse stable somehow, right? Me Young is just like driving up with this little horse and buggy. And, well, not horse and buggy. It's like some type of like, you know, go-kart or whatever. And he knows he's fucked right then and there, right? So she ends up looking in the back and she sees Kiki in the back of the thing. But she's laying there like she's done deal dead as shit, right? And then she's about to turn around and bang off on Mi Young. All of a sudden, the shotgun blast comes out. It's Cho all the way over the corner. Mi Young's like, oh, yo, thanks. You just came just in time. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to finish off and get the 100 mil or whatever like that. But as soon as he turns his back, Cho ends up banging this nigga done deal daddy shit. Cho know he ain't getting no 100 mil because everybody else is dead. So Cho's about to finish off Okju, but all of a sudden he looks down. He's like, oh, she disappeared. We're like, what the fuck? Apparently, we found out she was hiding around the back of the daggone buggy. So Cho's about to bang off. All of a sudden, Kiki just wakes up out of nowhere, starts banging off on Cho. We're like, what the heck? And then Okju gets a shot in, and that's what it is. Now here comes the craziness. They both was driving off in a Lambo. They go out to the beach or whatever like that. Apparently, they had Cho in the trunk. They end up tossing him out the damn trunk. And then Cho's talking crazy like, man, don't kill me. You know what I'm saying? I can do whatever by my eyes. I don't even know who you are. Because he really didn't at the time. And she's like, nigga, I'm the ballerina. So basically, after he knows he's not going to live, he's like, man, bottom line is, I'm going to haunt your girl in hell. You already know what time it is. And then she just looks at him like, you can go ahead and try. Pulls out the flamethrower and just flames his ass. He's done deal daddy shit. Now I thought to myself, why did she take him to the beach to just flamethrower his ass? Well, then we get another flashback. We get a flashback of Okju and Minnie just chilling on the beach, you know what I'm saying? Talking about fish run the world, not humans, you know what I'm saying? Little, whatever. The last scene of the movie is when she goes back to Cho's mansion, right? And she ends up taking all the flash drives. Then she finds this journal or whatever like that. She goes through the journal and sees all the locations of where he was taking these girls. and where to meet up at and whatnot. So then she gets on a bike and starts riding off. That's the end of the movie. I'm like, oh shit. Now I'm thinking to myself, what's she gonna do with these flash rides? She's gonna just give it to the police? And then I'm thinking to myself, well, she done run around murking niggas, so why would she even go to the police in the first place? What is she keeping this stuff for? But anyway, Ballerina on Netflix. Check it out.